You got spunk beard.
Yes. So I was like, okay, that's it. It's gone.
That's your alias when we start the show. I've actually hit record already. So yeah, hey, this is classic. This is classic team up. I'm here with Spunk Beard, aka William Bruce West. Spunk Beard McChicken.
Oh, how's it going?
The usual, except it's very unusual. It's going great. I'm behind the scenes on the network. This is a first team up in a long time. Of course, got to do it with my favorite guest, and we're going to chop it up, talk about some things we've seen recently. We were talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and we'll probably get into some Black Panther, some other things, and really just get people caught up.
Yeah, if this were a comic book, the cover would say "From the Ashes."
Yes,
because it's been
exactly.
so long.
This is a special. It's the annual. This is the annual for the comic that got like canceled. Like, wait a minute. If there's no more issues and you guys are done, why is there an annual? I
That's
don't think it
like
was an annual.
I just saw that X-Men Red has an annual coming out when X-Men Red just started last week. Like, you got to be around a year to earn an annual.
Yeah, 32 pages. Like, aren't most comics 32 pages? 64 pages. And just add pages.
$8.99.
$8.99. And then you see the pages are just like they're pretty much like single like artwork and like cast aside covers that they didn't use and shit. You're like,
Oh
you
yeah,
feel ripped off. You're like, I don't want to see the alternate cover to issue number 8. I want more story.
right.
Or the backstory is like Iceman goes to this grocery store.
Right. With some terrible artist.
Yeah.
And then 7-letter pages.
It's Jim Allred, Mike's brother.
Jim Allred.
He's getting his shot finally.
Michael Ramita Jr.
Yeah.
Like, where's John? No, we could only get Michael.
Oh yeah. He's named after his brother. It's like John Ramita had a brother named Michael, and that's how it. Every Ramita has a junior.
It's in the contract.
Yeah, either that or Mrs. Ramita has been pretty busy. She hosted quite a number of events and a lot of Ramitas.
It was the 70s. It was a different time.
It was a different time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of sharing going on. It's a community spirit. So we talk about beards, and well, we weren't talking about beards, but shout out to those that have beards. I'm struggling. I'm trying to get mine so I can be like you guys. Actually, yeah, I'll touch on that. The real reason I'm growing a beard, because people are like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you growing a beard and stuff?" I'm like, I don't know, I feel like it, but I'll tell you what really inspired me to do it was and this is such the nerdiest reason, the Avengers Infinity War trailer. Because Captain America comes out the shadows, that beard and stuff, and the long hair, and then Black Panther's like, he's and get that man a shield. So pretty much, I want to show it to Osukon in my full Captain America with the beard and stuff. And so it goes, and get that man a shield. That son of a bitch with the beard right there. But chances are I'm going to look more like Nick Fury than Captain America.
I'm just going to follow you around as your hype man. Every time we stop at a booth, I'm just going to say, and you.
You'd be like, you gotta do the fake Chadwick Boseman African accent. You gotta be, engage your defenses and get this black motherfucker a shield. Black Panther. Why are they making fun of Horace Whitaker saying Black Panther in his accent? The man won an Academy Award playing Idi Amin. I think he gets a pass on his African dialects.
On his dialect. I like how they made young James have a wonky eye too.
this is how great this movie is that people are nitpicking on wonky eyes, to have something to talk about.
It like that's what I was saying. Like I have no problems with it. Like I
Yeah,
do feel like something was missing and I can't put my finger on it, so that's why I don't give it like a 10 out of 10.
yeah.
But like I have no fanboy gripes because I'm not schooled in Black Panther enough to be like, oh, they changed this, they changed that.
But
Nobody knows shit about Black Panther. So,
yeah,
so
everyone that's hyped about it's like, yeah, that's good. I'm like, I don't read comics to know if I could shoot this thing down.
right,
Like,
right. Because I mean, like, I started reading the Coates run, like, when I got home, because the volume one is free on Comixology. And, like,
yeah,
I've been putting it off for so long, and it's so boring because it's just like the African West Wing. It's nothing but, like, political intrigue. There's no action to it.
yeah,
But, like, in the comic, Angela Bassett is his stepmother, not his
yeah.
mother. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh, well, that changed some stuff, but it didn't bother me.
Yeah, I would say the only diversion from the only thing for me is I've only read Black Panther back in the Christopher Priest run, which has
Right.
some elements in this, but it's like that was so far and long ago that a lot of what's in this movie, there's parts of that, but it's like, I really didn't read into Hudlin or anything else, and even Coates when he came on board, I wasn't buying comics, so I might have like read one issue digitally, and then after that, I was like, if I didn't buy it, I didn't buy it. So I'll probably go back and read it. But if you're saying it's political intrigue and stuff, I'll probably fall asleep. Um, I I really think the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the comics I read now. It's like a lot of what people read. They don't read anymore. It's like, okay, well, let's wait for the next Marvel movie because the
Mhm.
comics are frustrating. Avengers is frustrating to read because they cut through those so many iterations of the same team, and they make them so overpowered that I was just saying this the other day when they said they announced the relaunch of Avengers. Like this team is so stacked and loaded, they're not going to have anyone to fight, and they're just going to have Civil War 3. Like that's going to be the big thing that's going to allow people to be interested again. They pretty much did that with the Cap. They were like, oh well, make Cap part of Hydra, and now we've got to fight Cap. Or before that, it was like, let's do Civil War 2 and have them fight each other again. Because who's basically fighting these Avengers?
Right. But I
Nobody.
always think of the Avengers like the Justice League. And I think it was Mark Millar who said it best. Like when he was growing up, he liked Justice League because it was more bang for your buck. It's like you could buy Batman or you could buy Action Comics or you could buy Wonder Woman or you could just buy Justice League and they're all there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel like the Avengers should be. Like I know it was real controversial after like Disassembled when like everybody on the Avengers was like the people who sell lunch boxes. It was like Wolverine, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, like all these people who aren't typically marquee Avengers. But I grew to like that team. But the team they announced yesterday, that's pretty much what it should be. It should be the big three and Black Panther and a Hulk and
Yeah.
maybe a speedster and like the only one I had the issue with, well, two, is She-Hulk because she's not really there to fill Bruce's shoes. Like they
Yeah. Not
changed her
anymore.
personality, and they went with Robbie Ray as Ghost Rider, which I think he should be a champion instead of an Avenger.
Well, then it's like, what is their point to the champions anymore? If they're gonna like unite all these Avengers teams.
Well, the champions are just the kids. The
Yeah.
champions at this point are just the Teen Titans of the Marvel Universe.
So for in Robbie Reyes' case, it's more like a graduation,
It is,
kind of
except
like how Cyborg
he
went from
never
Titan.
joined. Yeah, but yes, it's like the cyborg thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're really trying to make Ghost Rider happen because he was on Agents of Shield and stuff, and it's like, well, they gotta get some mileage out the character, because Agents of Shield might not ever be back. Uh,
I, I don't know. I heard they've actually experienced a rating spike. Like I've been trying to kill that show for years, but their 100th episode is in 2 weeks.
oh,
So they made
congratulations!
it that far.
Yeah, well, they did it without me. I haven't watched a single episode this past season. Um,
Yeah, I haven't watched this season. Like
yeah,
them being in space in an alternate timeline was just too much of a cop out to me.
Uh, Anytime you put something in space, I just keep thinking of Josie and the Pussycats and how that outer space experiment like worked out for them. I just want to sing Pussycats in outer space. So I'll probably play a clip somewhere around here. And, but yeah, I checked out last season, like kind of halfway through after the Ghost Rider thing when they started getting into what's the name of that robot again? Or
the LMDs.
yes, the LMD thing, and was it Joe Costa? I forget what's their name, but pretty much like once they got into that, it was like, I don't need to watch this anymore. And
That was actually really good. I thought the Ghost Rider thing was the weakest part, but the actually like them being in, well, they did the LMDs, and then they did where they were in the framework. And
yeah,
that was when they were in the framework, it was like this computer simulation where basically Hydra had won. So like Hydra was Shield, and
yeah,
like they were all like on the run and persecuted. And I thought that was done really well. It's just
uh-huh.
that they made us sit through so much crap for it to get good that so many people missed out on it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it was. And it wasn't. I mean, there was connective tissue, I would say, but it's more like they bookended it because did they go to Ghost Rider near the end of it
Yeah,
or
he
back
did
to?
come back.
But by that time, so many people checked out. And part of it too is it's on Netflix, so I'm like, well, I don't have to watch this crap anymore. It's going to be on Netflix in a few weeks, so I'll just catch up there, which it's still in my queue. But there's so much stuff in my queue. I just started watching Runaways
Yeah,
on
I gotta
Hulu.
get to that. I'm so behind. Like I checked out of Arrow during the crossover, so now I'm like 6 episodes behind. I'm like 3 episodes behind on Black Lightning. Like it's just hard to watch stuff. It's too much stuff.
It is. It is. Yeah, Black Lightning. I've got on hold too. I think I got 2 episodes in, and well, my living situation's changed. I moved somewhere that doesn't have cable, like at all,
Ah,
or so like it's funny because now I'm living that life where I'm like, if it's not on Hulu or Netflix, I'm not going to catch it. And CW shows don't show up on Hulu. I should have known that before I
but
signed
they
up.
show up on the app. That's where you
Yeah,
got to start taking advantage of the app. Like they're on next day on the CW app. The trick is like some things you can watch like if you just have on demand or whatever, but then some things you really do need the like network specific app because like it has more features to it. So
yeah,
yeah, like Black Lightning's on the next morning. That's how I've watched the episodes because I can't watch anything live with Evie. Like it just
yeah.
ain't happening.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too with the live watching is uh like I miss out on the live tweets and stuff, but not really because if I watch it on my own pace, I might tweet it myself, or for the most part, I just watch it and then I'll just like react to the end of it or something. But I like there's few things I actually live tweet anymore, but I've fallen behind on everything. Like all my favorites, Designated Survivor, I haven't watched that in weeks. I stopped watching Bull because my friend he was on the last season, so there's like no
Did they
point.
kill him?
I think they just he was on the jury, and I don't know if they won or lost the trial, the case, but that was it for him. I don't even know if he voted. He voted, but yeah, he was done. Yeah, I don't know if he was a real juror. If he was like the mirror juror, because they had the mirror jury. No, I think he was on the real jury because I saw him sitting in the courtroom. Like he had a few
Yeah.
scenes. Most like he had one talking scene and a bunch of like him just sitting there. And I was like, "Act your ass off, dude! Look confused." I'm sitting there, just like just cheering him on and stuff. No, no,
Yeah, I'm amazed
he's
that
sitting
show's
there.
still on. Like that and Designated Survivor. Because Designated Survivor sounded like a good movie, but not
Yeah.
a good TV show.
To be a survivor, like to get to a second season, it's kind of like how Quantico got to a second season. You're like, how did we get this far? And so it's kind of like once that premise of the first season gets underway and it's over with, it's like, what do you do now?
Right.
Now he's president, so there's no designated survivor unless there's like a new plot line where there is a new designated survivor and you kill this president, or I don't know how would you call it still designated survivor, or is he still a designated survivor? Like, yeah, what's the point here? Like Quantico was like that. Like they weren't in Quantico anymore, and all the flashbacks were to some other areas, and it was like, well, why are you calling it Quantico? Why just name it something else?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the problem
So,
too is we got so used to Kiefer being Jack Bauer that his president's kind of a pussy. So it's like as many retools because the show's been through about 4 different showrunners. Like eventually they're just gonna make him Jack Bauer.
yeah,
Like if that show gets a 3rd season, like he's just gonna be President Bauer.
yeah, yeah. They'll pretty much have him be Harrison Ford in Air Force One. It's gonna be like, get off my damn plane, and it's gonna turn into that. But by that time, people have lost so much interest. Um, I don't know who stays up to watch ABC on those days anymore. It's all about the CW. That really is who runs TV right now.
Yeah,
Uh, and, and
I
and
guess like
yeah,
CW, like NBC's got some interesting stuff going on. I wouldn't say they're running anything, but
yeah.
like quality's still there, like with the Good Place and everything.
Yeah, and This Is Us is that's a captivating
Oh
television.
yeah,
What did you think about and it's funny because I forgot who tweeted it, but I thought they were talking shit. It might have been Horror Movie Barbecue. By the way, Horror Movie BBQ is a great account for anyone that wants to follow someone funny. Do that. Cheap plug for my man there. But I think he tweeted about how in Black Panther, a mini episode of This Is Us broke out, and I was laughing because I was like, "Yeah, you're being funny. You're telling jokes." But when I see Sterling K. Brown in the thing, and like he's like there, and like they have this whole big thing about him being Killmonger's dad. Spoilers. Come on, you've seen it by now. Um, and how that's playing out, I was like, this is an episode of This Is Us. I might
oh
be
yeah.
driven to tears right now. I think I might cry
Some
at this point.
somebody wrote, I think it was like Vulture. They wrote an article today that was like, "Why does everything Sterling K. Brown do make me cry?"
Because the motherfucker can act.
Yeah,
He had us feeling sorry for Christopher Darden. That's some real acting.
true,
I
very
didn't give,
true.
a shit about Christopher Darden during the whole. I, like calling him all kinds of Uncle Tom and stuff, man. But like, I was like, man, that's fucked up what he had to go through. Oh well.
It is, especially like when OJ did it.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to say
Uh huh. Johnny Cochran told him, "Nigga, please."
that.
He had to deal with so much. Poor Christopher Darden. And getting curved by curly haired Marshall Clark with the fresh perm.
He claims that they were actually banging.
Hey, don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
Right, right. He had to save face somehow.
That's right. With the community, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anyone that was rooting for him.
That's
Other than
true.
yeah. But so I would say Black Panther. Yeah, it kind of hit on all the. It kind of checked all the boxes for me. It was like it was action packed. It was smart. It was dramatic. It was funny. Um, it made some characters stole the scenes and stole the show. Like everyone's this consensus that Shuri stole the show as far as like people fell in love with her. Letitia Wright was a great character, great portrayal. Um, what did you think of Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan?
He was great. He was
Yeah,
a great Marvel villain, but in true Marvel fashion, they killed like,
they killed Killmonger. They could have just easily
actually,
just,
I've been floating this theory around lately, and people listen to it, but they don't really agree with it. In that, I don't think he's dead because while T'Challa, somebody brought up that T'Challa is honorable enough that he would respect his last wishes because he didn't want to be alive to be in bondage. But they made such a big deal about how his father never got a proper burial. We don't see a barrier. I mean, burial. We know they have the technology
He
to
did the
bring
thing
him back.
about bury me at sea, though. That's kind of like why, isn't it?
Yeah, but we don't see it.
That's true. Well, it
If
might
he
be
had like
more.
kicked him off the cliff or something, that would have been one thing. But like
Yeah.
we don't see it.
Well, I don't know how Disney it would be for the show dumping his body into the water.
It's not Disney though. See, people pick and choose when they want Marvel to be Disney. Like
Yeah,
Disney's just counting the money. This is a
they
Marvel
are.
movie. And like I could totally see because
Yeah.
the
Because Star
also
Wars is Disney in that same vein, and the way Snoke died was, spoilers. That was not Disney-esque. In fact, that was a holy shit moment. Like, holy shit.
right, right. And also, I mean, I'll put it this way. We haven't seen the last of Killmonger. Even if he is dead, everybody comes back. And it's not like, oh, it's comic books. No, I mean, in these movies, they all come back as like a flashback or an apparition or
Uh,
a hallucination. Like,
he is
we'll see him
he is
again.
a past king now. So when T'Challa takes the purple tussin, the purple heart tussin, which is what I'm calling it, and goes into the astral plane with the ancestors, boom, Killmonger's right there coming off the tree too,
Right, right. And
and he's
I was saying if they do a trilogy, they could pretty much just rip off Iron Man because I feel like the second Black Panther has to deal with the fact that it ain't healthy for him to keep going back and forth with that serum. Like that's a situation that's supposed to be done once. Like
uh,
you take it to take the powers away for your challenge, you win the challenge, you get your powers back, and you're king. He goes through that 3 times in this movie.
well, but then they take that same herb, the blossom, or whatever, and Killmonger burns most of it. So like
Right.
that one that survived, they grind it up and they make the new serum. But is that the last of it completely,
It's
or
gotta
or,
be.
or is
But I
more going to?
mean,
But you also have to think too. If they're living on top of a mound of vibranium that's like untapped, that's probably where the herbs are growing from. That's probably like transforming the soil to the point where more is going to eventually grow and flourish in that same, so Killmonger, he eliminated the problem immediately in terms of all these herbs are not here anymore. But give it another 10 years, then more herbs are going to come and more purple tussin comes out, and you're pretty much back where you started.
right,
Because of the
right.
vibranium. Look, vibranium makes everything better. This podcast right now is run on vibranium because as soon as I figured out that vibranium makes everything better, your subways are better, your light rail and all that shit, I'm putting vibranium in everything, man. I'm putting in sprinkling in my cereal now. No vibrate. Hey, look, I'll be like, Shorty, listen, I know what he could do for you, but can he do it with vibranium? Just have vibranium, line your underwear with it. It's gonna be great. Telling you, you gotta get in on that market right now because people they getting wise to that, man.
I still don't remember in the battle though, is vibranium stronger than adamantium?
Yeah, I always picture that because Cap Shield is vibranium, and
Right.
that image of Wolverine slashing Cap Shield, and like it does some damage, but it doesn't like pierce it, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Blob facing the Juggernaut, the irresistible force, immovable object thing. But I would think part of the thing with adamantium though is it's actually it's a metal, but it's almost manufactured. It's not really like there's not like a storage of adamantium anywhere. They actually have to synthesize it. Whereas
Yeah.
vibranium, it's like that's a mineral. They get that from the earth and it's there. Like there's no big adamantium like mine or something. They are literally creating it out of like different elements. So I would
Well,
say
I've
that makes it
often
weaker.
Well, I've wondered if adamantium was created in an attempt to like create vibranium.
Could be,
It's the
could
same
be.
way that like every Marvel hero basically was a reaction to them trying to recreate the super soldier suit.
Yep, yep. So vibranium is kind of like that OG, that prototype, and it's like, well, how do we make this again? And that's where you get like the adamantium and some of the spin-offs. What were some other like tough metals or indestructible metals in the Marvel universe? Or was it just those two?
I feel like it's those two. I know in DC there's the nth metal from Thanagar,
Yeah. Or
and
what did Omega Red have on his? He had like carbonadium or something like that, or on his
oh yeah, his
tentacles.
things were like poisonous too.
Yeah, it was like carbonadium or something, or carbide, but it was like, I mean, it was an actual element though, or actual mineral, but or metal. But I just remember that was like his like that was almost as strong, but not quite. Like Wolverine could cut that, but it would sap your strength.
I never realized that for the longest time Sabretooth didn't have adamantium.
Yeah, yeah, he just had claws. Um, I think it was before. I don't know if it was before or after they had that whole thing where Wolverine beheaded him, and then they like did that 0 hour thing and retconned everything, and then they gave him adamantium again.
Because like Sabretooth started as an Iron Fist villain. I mean, talk about a
Yeah.
promotion.
Uh-huh. AKA the thundering dumbass. The Defenders did that. That didn't really do anything to redeem Iron Fist at all.
What'd you say?
The Defenders. Remember that series?
Never
I,
saw it.
I can tell you right now, it was cool seeing them all together, but it really didn't like redeem Iron Fist that much. I mean, and I think what it did, if anything, what it did was it made Daredevil's character look even dumber because
It
because
it really does seem like it did nothing for the characters individually. Because
yeah.
looking at the trailer for Jessica Jones season 2, it doesn't seem like she's experienced any kind of growth as a character whatsoever.
No, it was more like she played well with others, or she actually was on a team, so she's probably a little more mellow, but that's about it. Um, but yeah, it didn't really. I would say of all the characters in the Defenders, it probably did the most for Luke Cage because it got him out of jail.
Oh,
But yeah, so I mean, he was still in jail at the time, and
see, I
you
haven't
know,
seen Luke Cage yet.
oh wow,
That's
yeah,
one of your episodes I've missed because I was like, I can't listen to it until I watch it. But like, I stopped with those Netflix shows after Jessica Jones. So I haven't seen Daredevil season 2. I haven't seen Luke Cage. I haven't seen Iron Fist, and I haven't seen Punisher, and I haven't seen The Defender.
I haven't finished The Punisher. I'm like, I think I'm episode 6 or 7, which is sad because I'm like the huge Punisher fan, like but at the time I was just like I was checked out. I was falling asleep on episodes of The Punisher, which was kind of weird because I usually am like really all in, and this is like action packed, or it's like, but this like that Netflix slow build thing,
Right.
and like I would wake up and I'd be like, I had no desire to repeat the episode. I was like, nah, I'll catch it later. So after the fourth or fifth time of doing that, I was like, I'm just gonna. Oh, I remember it was during the holidays. I was alternating between The Punisher and The Good Place.
I
So I
remember
watched,
that.
yeah, and I was like, this is a weird type of experiment to do this because I was more excited by The Good Place and what was happening on that show than I was The Punisher. Yeah, I don't know. I say check it out though if you can.
It's just
Check.
there's just so much to watch. I'm just
Yeah,
overwhelmed. And then like I was talking to Mike about this where people talk about how there's too many comic book movies and like superhero fatigue. And like that's stupid. Like there's not fatigue. But when you look at 2018, there's a lot of fucking comic book movies coming out
yeah.
this year.
Well, it's the trend, and it's what works, and it's what I've been saying all along about comic book movies is you don't have to do much work for them. The screenplay's written for you. The script is written for you. The plots are all there. It's like 40, 50, 60 years of source material. What makes or botches it up is when you try to change too much of it, which is why the Marvel Cinematic Universe has got the biggest draw and the biggest pull because they pretty much have their stories written. They are the source material when they go to like the well, and they don't. I mean, they deviate, but it's a consistent deviation. You know, it's like okay, well, we know this is going to lead to tie into Avengers: Infinity War, so we're going to do this, and that, and you're going to know that there's going to be Infinity Stones. They're not doing crap like Days of Future Past or X-Men Apocalypse or whatever have you, and having to retcon the timeline because they fucked up back in X2 and X3 and trying to like put the shit back in the horse or like apologize for what they did in the past. You know, Sony did the same thing, you know, started doing the same thing with the Spider-Man movies where it's like, you know, until they sold back to Marvel, you had no idea what the hell was going on with that Sinister Six and that, you know, whole get up and setup. It was like, wait a minute. So Harry Osborn is the Green Goblin before Norman Osborn, who's dead. What the hell? You know, it's like, and how is Felicia Hardy just showing up as an employee of Oscorp? You know, how does that? You know, this is stuff that doesn't make sense. This is stuff that somebody on set should have been like, hey, I've been reading the comics for a while, and this makes no damn sense. Please don't do it.
Right. I mean, because have you seen all the stuff for New Mutants? Like, New Mutants is a straight up horror movie.
And you know, where's the continuity with X-Men in that? You know, or how does that tie into Wolverine or anything else? Does it? And you're still left with that uncertainty. It's the biggest money grab ever, and the fact is, because Fox is finally bought by Disney, they're gonna right the ship, but it's gonna take a while, and all this stuff has either been filmed, shot, or in development, and they're just gonna let it go, or they're gonna say, you know what, screw it, we aren't gonna put the kibosh on this and make this what it's supposed to be. Um, and you know, it's up to the mouse to decide that, but you know, that's kind of how we ended up with this and a Deadpool series that has nothing, no ties to X-Men, but it's a huge hit because it's, you know, it's comedy, it's Deadpool. It's you know, it's kind of what Deadpool is gonna sell regardless. You know, it's like the comic sells regardless, even though sometimes the comic doesn't really make any sense or it doesn't really tie into anything. It's it's like it's Deadpool, you know, to the point where they've got a Gwenpool and all this other stuff.
I love Gwenpool. She's my new favorite character.
Uh, you know what's funny is you say that and then like she's like the epitome of derivative in terms of like, yeah, this is a combination of Deadpool and Gwen Stacy in an alternate universe, and I'm just like, I still don't get the appeal. I maybe because I haven't read too much of it, but I'm just like, I don't, I can't see myself latching myself to Gwenpool.
It's a fun series, but like, yeah, its origins are kind of murky. Like, basically, she from our world, and somehow she found herself in the 616 universe. So her superpower, quote unquote, is her extensive knowledge of comic books. So like, she knows people's secret identities that nobody's supposed to know because she's a fangirl. So like,
Oh,
that her like knowledge of the Marvel universe helps her get by, and she needs to make money, so she becomes a mercenary, and she has no like qualms about killing people because she knows they're not real, because she knows she's in a comic book.
I see. So this is kind of like Deadpool, but with like, you know, even more fourth wall breaking, and she's wise to the whole thing.
Right.
You know, she's like a fangirl Deadpool. I get it now. I feel like we've had this discussion on the show before.
Quite possibly. I've been quite the Gwenpool booster. I'm sad that her series got canceled, but I just went on a huge eBay bender last weekend and bought like every Gwenpool thing I could find. In fact, I broke my cardinal rule and I bought Funko Pops.
Oh man, Funko Pops. Yeah, so I've told you a while ago about my recent addiction to Funko Pops, and most of mine have been through Amazon or or what I started doing was going to the different stores like Toys R Us and Walgreens and getting the exclusives. So yeah, most of my Funkos are now they're in offsite storage. I don't even have them with me. I've got two that I'm staring at now that are Hulk from Thor Ragnarok with the Battle World or armor, and Kylo Ren. And then I've got two at my job, but the rest are like elsewhere, because kind of transitioning right now. But yeah, I've had to pretty much put an embargo on buying them. But now that I did that, the Black Panther ones are out, and I'm like, I want those too.
Yeah. Have you seen the Target exclusive Thor Ragnarok Hulk, where he's in scale to the others? So he's like $40, but he's like a foot and a half tall, so that he actually does tower over the regular Funko Pop.
I did not see that. The exclusives are pretty cool because like there's huge scenes. There's a Walgreens exclusive of Star Wars. It's I'm trying to think of what it is. Oh, it's Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader on Bespin, Cloud City.
Right.
So the scene just before he cuts his hand off. And like I'm in Walgreens like every other day, staring at it, going. I said I was going to buy another one. I said, I want to pull the trigger, but I'm going to hold off because it's as soon as I know that that's going to fly off the shelf, I'm going to get it. And you kind of wised me up to Toys R Us because remember a while ago they were going to close up all those stores, and the first thing I said to you was, "Hey, I gotta go buy some Funko Pops," and you're like, "They're not going to really drop the price on them that much because Toys R Us does. There's a reason why they're going out of business. In fact, just today or yesterday they announced they're closing even more stores.
Yep, 200 more.
Jesus, they're going the way of KB Toys. Yeah. Brick and mortars.
I was honestly surprised that only one of ours in this area didn't make the cut. It was like Potomac Mills. So like we're gonna lose some because there's like 4 just in Northern Virginia. Y'all don't need that many.
Nope. Really don't. I mean, it's always empty. I passed through there and it's like it's the same 5 or 6 people just wandering the store. And most of them are like collectors and toy hunters like you and I. Like I rarely see kids in there. And if there are kids in there, they're the card games. They're the Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever the games the kids play. Meanwhile, grown folks like me are buying puzzles and shit.
I had to stop going to mine because I went too much over Christmas, and I went like Christmas Eve, and one of the like seasonal night women was like, "Damn, he's in here every night." And I was like, I've been made.
Yeah, well, you got multiple wives and kids to buy for, so there's that.
That's what I told her, but it was all for me.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Mrs. West, the only Mrs. West, by the way.
That she knows about.
There you go, on this side of town. Oh man, so so The Last Jedi, that was a game changer for me, man. As far as Star Wars movies, The Force Awakens kind of did it, but once that movie came, what got me though was the ending. It was spoilers. You're listening to the Classick team. Come on. So the whole thing with Luke Skywalker, and he pretty much just like via satellite, just like kind of just
live via satellite.
Just okey doked his nephew, like finessed the shit out of him. He kind of like he faced. It was like he hologrammed his ass, but it was so hard that he hologrammed them from across the galaxy that he's like he fell out and got up and dropped dead.
Right, right. That was the saddest part where it's like, okay, you kind of showed him up, but your ass is still dead, and he
Yeah,
technically did kill you.
yeah,
Like,
because you just used your last of your powers or your energy. But then, and this goes back to those Star Wars theory videos that people have been doing for years, or for a couple of years now, like building up to this. Like, I think this is going to happen. But one theory video I saw was, what was Luke ready to do in The Force Awakens when Rey found him? Because he was dressed in all like that formal wear with the Jedi garb and everything. He didn't look like that the whole time. He was back to his like regular ass dusty gray and black, and he's drinking milk off the bantha and stuff, and stick fishing and screwing the nuns. So like, what was he doing dressed up all like that? Because he didn't know Rey was coming. He was turned off from the Force,
he was about to
and
go bang some more fish nuns. That was his fish nun banging suit.
that was his fish nut banging suit. First off, it was very crisp and clean. I mean, unless he's taking him out on the night on the town, which there's no town. It's an island of all things. And by the way, Luke is like, he Columbus the shit out of that island, because they weren't doing any of that stuff. The fish nuns weren't doing nothing until he showed up. And he comes in, he's all like, I'm gonna build a hut here. You guys are gonna like take care of it. I'm gonna just stab all the fish. I'm gonna suck all the milk out of these bantha. This is my spot right now.
Right, he came. He's like, "You're gonna wash my white ball
and my linens. Get these linens very, very fast." So yeah, Luke Skywalker is the ultimate colonizer. If we're going to cross the Black Panther, but no, my question is, at what point? No, not the question, but the theory is he was going to kill himself. He was going to like pretty much just, Kari and just jump off the cliff, and then Rey just shows up, and that's kind of why, because he wanted to be the last Jedi, and he's probably like, you know what, screw this. I've been turned off for so long. I don't even know what's going on. That's it. I'm gonna put on my white suit, and I'm gonna do 2 steps like R. Kelly, and I'm gonna just gonna call it a day. So he was probably gonna go ghost and be with Yoda and Ben Kenobi, and then Rey just shows up with the lightsaber. He's like, "What the hell is this?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna turn off."
And then we have to wonder his intentions. Where he's like, he sees and he's like, "Huh, well, this ain't a fish." Been a while since I've had some of this.
This ain't a fish nun. But then, like, after everything is done, he's like, "Well, now I can finally die in peace," because now I know that there's some hope or whatever. And it's like, because he doesn't like, it's not like he was so exhausted that he just died. It was like he was exhausted and he just got up and he was like, now's a good time to die. And he did the thing where you willfully just die, like
right.
what Obi-Wan did. It was like, right. I'm out, peace.
That's like
Jedi can just do that that unassisted, unmessy suicide where they could just like become a ghost and their clothes just like disappear, man.
That's like, you ever seen Dewey Cox, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, and the whole time the dad's like, the wrong kid died, like the wrong Skywalker died.
Yeah, but I'm like,
because they claim he claims he never found a point where he could have killed Leia. So now you're gonna have to do a time jump in the next one, like you were talking about, because she ain't around no more.
Yeah, you gotta explain that too. So it's gotta be like at least 5-10 years, maybe, because you gotta explain all these Jedi or the rebels that are coming up. The rebellion's decimated to like 14 people. You can't have 14 people take on the Empire in the next movie, like just moments after they just got their asses handed to them and barely made it out alive. You got to be like, okay, now they've got a rebellion of 30 people, and Admiral Akbar's son is there, and Jordan Calrissian is there, and someone else is
Jordan Calrissian.
They got time to cast somebody. There's probably some Disney TV show character that they can just cast and be like, he's gonna be playing Jordan Calrissian.
Or they could throw us for a loop. It could be like Eric Andre.
Yeah, true. My father Lando My Uncle Lando would not like this. This is the most poorly written Star Wars ever.
And they would just waste him like they wasted Finn. Like I was so disappointed in Finn in this movie. Like
Yeah.
I thought he was a character with a lot of potential, and it was just squandered here. He was relegated to the B plot with Rose, and like he he just really doesn't meet his full potential in this movie.
No, no. I mean, as soon as they pretty much took him out of the whole thing, I think this movie was mostly about Luke Skywalker and the whole thing with Rey and Kylo Ren. This was a Jedi centric movie. Uh, Whereas the next one might be more of like talking about the rebellion and everything else, and like I think the Jedi will kind of they won't take center stage. So we might see more Finn, but the other side of this, we're going to see more Poe Dameron. Um, but the whole Rey thing that's unresolved with Kylo Ren and the whole well, there's that aspect of it. People were shipping them, as they say on social media. What do you think of that? Do you think that's going to go anywhere, or did it seem like it was going anywhere? I don't think it's logically going to go anywhere, but
Well,
they
there's
could.
like there's a love square now. Like it's not even a
Yeah,
triangle because like I never realized. Like I only saw Phantom Menace Force Awakens once, so I didn't realize that Poe Dameron had never met Rey.
yeah,
So when they're introduced and he's like, I know. And I was like, wait, huh? They're just meeting? And yeah,
yeah,
people did say there seemed to be something there. So okay, so you got Rey and Poe, but then you got Rey and Finn, and then
yeah.
you got Finn and Rose.
And you got
And
Finn
like,
and you got Finn and Poe.
ugh, that's not happening.
He's
That's
wearing the
just a
mask jacket. Come on now.
there's only one jacket in the galaxy. That's the
Han's
reason.
jacket.
There's just one jacket. You got to take turns.
I'm
That's
sorry.
how bad off the rebellion is.
Yeah,
There's the rebellion jacket, and
I
you
let
got to schedule it.
I laughed at that too hard because I'm still 14 years old in my brain. I'm like, there's only one jacket. You gotta take turns. That should be the name of this episode. But yeah, honestly, it's just too much. And then you put shirtless Kylo Ren in the mix,
Oh
and
yeah, him
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, and
But I will say my favorite part of the movie, and I wrote about this too, where it's like, is the first scene in Star Wars where you know they would have put nigger in there if they could have. And that is when when Captain Phasma is like,
yeah,
you were always scum. It's like,
rebel scum.
you were always a nigger. Rebel nigger.
With the hard ER.
Right, with the hard ER.
Yeah. Yeah, she had that contempt of the like the 70s white people on certain TV shows like the Jeffersons or whatever. Oh gosh. Yeah, that was quite a movie. A lot of shock and all in that movie. That think really that was what that movie was about, was we're gonna shock the shit out of you. Um and then Black Panther had like all these different dynamics too. What did you think of M'Baku, who's like also like, well, look, the ladies are loving M'Baku. They're eating him
They
up.
are.
Yeah, they
I
are.
like him in that incarnation. I don't ever want him to become Man Wolf or whatever the hell his thing is.
Man ape. It's man
Man
ape.
Ape. I I know nothing of Black Panther. Like
Yeah,
97% of Americans. Like
I'm
everybody's
just,
bandwagoning right now,
yeah,
but
I'm
I'm
just
just gonna
saying.
keep it real.
I want to be that guy that shows the graphic of, the side by side. Like, ladies, really, this is this is who your sex symbol is. A guy like that dressed like an ape in the comics. Like, but I don't want to be that guy either. It's like man ape is a sex symbol, but hey, it's what happens. That's what happens.
It is.
You dress him up.
He was
Yeah.
a good character. It's a shame he'll probably die in Infinity War.
I mean, well, who's not going to die in Infinity War?
Because I feel like they introduced the Wakandans just as cannon fodder. It's the same way the Asgardian survivors are just going to be cannon fodder.
Well, yeah, we saw that. Well, we kind of figured that too with the Amazonians in Justice League when they had them on in those scenes in like the lot of the previews and stuff. Like, oh man, they're fighting like Themyscira with Steppenwolf. Yeah, a few of them are gonna die, and that's exactly what
Yeah, but
happened.
we never really got to know enough of them to care. Like
That's
we
true.
know Okoye now, we know Nakia. Like it would bother us to see like Shuri. Like there's certain people who would die, and we'd be like, oh, that's sad. Like with
Yeah,
the Amazons, there's blonde queen lady. It's like there's Hippolyta, and then there's Hippolyta's sister lover woman, and then there's the black one who
yes,
also was in Black Panther.
yeah, exactly. Denai Garai, I think. No, that's not who played both. But there was one of the Dora Milaje was also an Amazon, and
Yep.
she holds that distinction. Um, so I mean, it's pretty cool though that we've gotten to this point where uh, white boys are mad that there's women Jedi in Star Wars, and that that there's a Black Panther, not a White Panther, and that there's so much diversity on film that people are actually going to pay attention and take notice and make more movies. With just different, varied characters that are not just white men. You know. Um,
It'll be interesting to see the lesson that Hollywood learns from this because they're probably going to take the wrong thing away from it.
yeah,
You know,
they're
it's
like
like they,
there should be more women in movies, and there'll be a lot of white women in movies, and and the one black friend, the Tiffany Haddish, and then that's going to be it. And
or we'll get like the Static Shock movie from Warner Brothers.
oh gosh, Warner Brothers is so far; their heads are so far up their asses. It's been that way for so long now.
It,
Like Warner Brothers had the luxury that Marvel Studios has. They had that luxury for years, years.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, we got Supergirl, Steel, fucking. God, there's so many times I just got it wrong. Like
they
someone needs
just
to.
need they need a Kevin Feige. Like there's a part of me that hopes he gets bored after like phase 4 and
Uh,
then just goes over to Warner Brothers.
yeah. But even that's an uphill battle because there's so much you got to fix. I mean, yeah, they got years and years of lore, but how do you? I mean, every few weeks we get another rumor of another Joker movie or another standalone DC Comics movies, and the fine print or the subtitle is this will not be in any way connected to any of the other DC movies, so don't even ask.
Yeah, pretty
It's like
much.
why are you giving us that hope? Then why are you making a Harley Quinn movie or a Catwoman movie or a Joker origin story, which no one asked for?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
they just I don't know. I don't know what could save them. It seemed like Snyder had too much influence and they realized that, which is why it came out that like he was fired instead of like he got to resign gracefully. But
mm,
and then today we find out Whedon's off Batgirl, but I thought that happened months ago anyway, so that didn't seem like news to me.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing they do is they hire the big names, but they don't really have the follow through. And again, Kevin Feige's a big name now because Kevin Feige was back when all we had was Agents of Shield and the second Captain America movie or the third Iron Man movie. That's like he was making it all connect, and we were like, it's all connected. I remember being at that awesome con and thinking, or being at the New York Comic Con and thinking, how are they going to connect all this?
Right?
Movies and TV and stuff. And when they actually started doing it, it was like, holy crap, they're actually doing this.
Yeah,
And,
they pulled it off.
yeah, yeah. So now it's like a decade of Marvel Cinematic Universe, and just all kinds of great stuff happening. And there's things you forget that like I don't think Black Panther, as phenomenal as it was and as many records as it's broken, I don't consider it an anomaly because every Marvel movie going forward is going to keep smashing records. Ant-Man and the Wasp might smash records.
I
I
don't
mean,
think so.
well, it
I
is.
think
It's on the
Captain
heels.
Marvel will smash records. I
Yeah.
don't think Ant-Man and the Wasp, mainly because Ant-Man Ant-Man is the Fox movie of the MCU. Like it's a
Okay.
good, like it's an entertaining movie, but quality wise, it's like a really good Fox movie. It
Okay.
just has the luxury of being in the MCU.
Mhm. Well, there's that, but there's also that comedic element that the first one had. Um, that could catch on still, and and the team up aspect, and the fact that the Wasp, he's kind of co-leading it with her. Um, but it's not even that. It's just the fact that these Marvel movies are like, it's a license to print money. They're proven to be entertaining. They're rarely disappointing. They seem to have gotten like they seem to hit on all the cylinders and everything. I mean, Black Panther was phenomenal. That's probably like the first superhero movie that should be nominated for Best Picture. And but it's kind of like bad timing because they just had the Oscars or whatever, and they have to like really kind of like wait it out
They
until the
haven't had
next
them
year.
yet,
Oh yeah, they didn't have
but
them yet,
but
but they're not
it's still
eligible.
too early because if they wanted serious consideration, they'd want like a December opening so like it's fresh in people's mind.
Yeah, it would be eligible now for an Oscar. It would be like it would have because don't the Oscars run based on the year?
Yeah, it would be next year's
Yeah, so
because
like
we're still waiting to see if Get Out wins this year.
yeah, Get Out was early last year. The
Yep.
same thing. So if Get Out wins, then but still, it's like, but I would say unless there's some like Daniel Day Lewis movie, and I think he's retiring from acting this coming year, or he has already, or some French English shit. There's always some English shit that's gonna be like nominated, unless something's gonna knock it out the box in that coming year. I would say Black Panther has a strong possibility of being nominated for Best Picture,
I
except for
don't know.
that one guy, that one reviewer that tried to give it a bad review because there wasn't enough T'Challa beating up people.
Right,
Was
right.
his review?
I do feel like that might be the thing that like was missing for me. And I was talking to some coworkers about it, where it's like the cast is so good that like T'Challa is almost one of the least interesting people in the movie.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, he was able to have his moments and like really he didn't lead the movie per se, but he did. Like he didn't have to like flex his acting muscle or even like, have that many have the amount of scenes that. But I think he had like sufficient action. I don't feel like he was shortchanged or anything like that.
Right. No,
And he was
there
still
was
trending.
definitely enough action. I just kind of
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish he had shined more
Yeah.
amongst his co-stars.
Yeah. I mean, performance wise, maybe, but I don't think that's a fault of the writing. I mean, you do want to kind of show the world of Black Panther and the world of Wakanda, so to speak, and the supporting characters around him. But you know, that's what made this movie so good too. Is the supporting characters were just supporting characters, like they were part of. Like how people talk about the Dark Knight was really the star of those Batman movies was Gotham City and shit like that. That's kind of how this Black Panther was. It's like, yeah, it's Black Panther, but it's Wakanda. It's the civilization. It's the whole like ecosystem and like the royalty and then just the world you're in. It's kind of like how Lord of the
Right.
Rings is more than just Frodo. It's like all the other things, the different realms and the parts of possibilities. I would see sequels of this, even if, particularly if a lot of it's based in Wakanda. If there's still a Wakanda after, you know, Infinity War. And what'd be interesting now is if they get the rights to Namor and Atlantis, then you can have that war happen because you can build the Atlanteans and everything, and that would be an epic like movie down the line too.
Right.
But I think that's Universal. That's not so much Fox. I don't know. Got to look at the
Yeah, that's a
scorecard.
universal thing.
Yeah, bastards. Everyone's owning stuff they shouldn't. You know, just come off it. Come up off it. Let Marvel get the wheels and let them ride. Let them drive because they got the vibranium. It's like we got vibranium on this show. Um, Last thing. People were doing the absolute most for this movie. Black Panther. I mean, I don't know if they were
Yes.
doing anything for Star Wars. Um, yeah, people were sneaking in food. People were dressing up in shirts. I had my Black Panther shirt on, like literally a Black Panther shirt, like the motherfucking actual Black Panther. Um, People had Black Panther T-shirts. They had Black Panther parody shirts. They was dressing up like Storm. They was dressing. They was cosplaying. They was wearing dashikis. They was dressing like Huey Newton and Eldridge Cleveland, actual Black Panthers, and it was fun. Um, they had the guy dressed up like the Prince Akeem.
Yep.
And and King Jaffe Jafar from Coming to America. So they had all of these different like variations of stuff, and a lot of it was fun. And then it got annoying. Not so much the costumes or what their people were wearing, but just I mean, people get too loud and stuff. It's like, okay, I understand your hot takes and stuff, but now you're getting ridiculous.
Right,
and then the whole thing of, what's going to happen when Wakanda and Zamunda, when they have that war in the next movie? Like, yeah. You know that shit ain't real, right? You can relax now.
Right.
Yeah, so I just had so much fun with it because I didn't see it till that holiday Monday. So it's like I try to stay off social media and not have stuff. I don't worry about spoilers, but it's like you don't want to see too much chatter about it. But it was kind of like it was just comedic. It was just so funny to me. Like, oh my gosh, everyone's just acting an ass over this movie, over a comic that no one read.
Right.
Don't tell me you read Black Panther. I know you didn't. I mean, I'm not saying like I did. I just know a lot of people that were acting so foolish about this. They never flipped a page in their life, and maybe they will read it. God bless them. But that's why I wanted to call this episode Wakanda Comedy Jam, because I was just laughing so hard at just like the jokes and just how funny everything was.
You could tell the bandwagoners. It's the same way. Like, I have a question I ask. Like, people hate gatekeepers, and I understand that because, like, there's this hashtag right now on Twitter that I despise. That is, "Do you even comic book?" Because I feel like it's very condescending and it's brash, and it's like,
Yeah,
I've heard they're a welcoming community, but it doesn't sound like it, even though it is like kind of tongue in cheek. They just kind of
yeah,
seem like assholes. And like, it's the same kind of like, it's gatekeeper mentality. And I
yeah,
have that just so I can gauge how I talk to somebody. So, like, if they're like, "Oh, I like comic books," it's like, "Oh, do you? So, who killed Batman's parents?" And if they tell me it was the Joker, then we have nothing to talk about. And it's the
yeah,
same kind of thing here. Like, you could tell the people, like, "Oh, maybe they'll show when he marries Storm." It's like, well, there's so many problems with that right there. Like,
yeah. That was manufactured. But yeah, but the thing is, it's like you said. It's like, okay, well, there's gatekeeping, or there's like, there's a position you feel that you need to have to basically help people along. But if you're not helping anybody, it's like you're just being an asshole. And we don't need that many assholes out here. But even so, it's not even the gatekeeping that's the problem for me. It's the people that take it too damn far, or they take it too far to the left, and they want to know. Uh, our good friend Rod has, he's parodied this to the nines, where it's like, if everyone that was supporting Black Panther had put money in black banks, we could buy all the vibranium, like like the fake woke shit. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. But there are people on Facebook actually posting shit like that for real.
oh yeah,
Like they're taking,
Hotep Twitter.
Yeah,
But like
that's yeah.
I was telling Tim about this, like I changed my stance on the movie like as the release date got closer because like I wasn't gonna see it in the theater. Like
Yeah.
I just wasn't like when you were saying people were doing the most, I felt between the combination of the potential of President Oprah and the fact that this movie was coming, a lot of us got really out of pocket.
Yeah.
Like we got real uppity, and that's the kind of thing where people want retribution. And I
Uh-huh.
thought for sure something was going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it turned out to be like the whole Florida thing instead. But
Uh,
like, I thought something was going to happen based around like this movie's release. And I was like, I got a family. I don't want to die over some movie. So I compromised and I saw it in Frederick because I was like, they ain't going to kill their own people.
yeah.
So, like,
There you go. There you go. Go see an Alamo Draft House or something. I don't know. I mean, I had a good time where I saw it, and I mean, I got a lot of comments on my shirt. Someone actually called me Chadwick. No, I'm just playing. They didn't. But it was like just to go and have a good time, and I didn't take things too seriously. And I focused on the movie. I didn't focus too much on what was being said or the people, whatever, because at the end of the day, it's a Marvel movie. You're gonna see it. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna watch it on Blu-ray when it comes out. You're gonna watch it on FX when they air it, years from now, or on Netflix, and you're gonna watch it again before you go see the next one in theaters, very soon, and keep giving them your money. Disney's just basically gonna keep growing, stronger and stronger, and but at least they'll entertain us and get their money's worth out of it. So, or get our money's worth. So, I mean, enjoyed it. I mean, it was a quite a moment because I mean, I had people that I knew didn't give a damn about comics, and they were talking about going to see this movie. Like, coworkers were like, "Oh, I'm going to see Black Panther." Girl, I'm going to see Black Panther. Like, really? Ethel, you going to see Black Panther? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, my cousin got invited and she thought it was a movie about the Black Panther Party. And I had
Uh-huh,
to tell her, like, no, it's a comic book movie. And
uh-huh,
she was like, really? But
uh
she saw it anyway and she enjoyed it, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I came out of there. I was doing this. I was doing the whole the dap and the shake and the what's Wakanda forever and everything. And I mean, to this point, it's like a point of pride where you can actually share something with somebody and like say, look, we saw this together. Bet it was a good time.
right.
So that's the positive I get out of it, and I think a lot of people got that out of it. And I mean, the idiots are gonna be idiots. They're gonna idiot, and that's all it is. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this movie had a banging ass soundtrack, a great score, great actors, great plot, great moments. And like you at the end of it all, we got a Marvel movie that had a lot of black people in it, like which is like unheard of when you think about when Marvel started making movies and we did comic book movies and stuff. So people were like, yo, Blade was the first black superhero. Yeah, Blade was a good movie, but it's nowhere to the magnitude of this. And we're not going to go give this whole history lesson of how Blade could walk so Black Panther could run or any of that bullshit. You keep your
Yeah,
stupid
I've
name.
seen that
You know,
meme. People don't even realize that Blade has never had a comic that lasted more than 13 issues. Like, he was a
tell him,
fluke of a
tell him.
character.
He didn't even have his own comic when the movie came out. It was like the most he had was Ghost Rider: Rise of the Midnight Suns. he was a guest. He was a guest in comics.
Yep.
He didn't have his own book. I mean, and then they tried to do it, and that didn't work out. So no, I mean, unless they bring back Wesley Snipes with sticky fingers, you're not going to see Blade again.
Sticky fingers. I remember that show is kind of like it's amazing in that the premiere was the highest rated premiere in the history of basic cable, but it still ended up getting canceled for low ratings.
Uh-huh. Well, they figured out why. They were like, people tuned in thinking, okay, how much different is this going to be than the movie? And then they realize how much different it's going to be than the movie.
Right.
Yeah, sticky fingers. My gosh. Anyway, So yeah, this closes out the classic team up special episode, the annual. We might be back, we might not. I don't know. Little bit of feedback aside. So if you want to, just send us an email or tweet hashtag classic team up. You know how to spell it, and you can at me at classic_AED. If you at me enough, I might tell you what the AED stands for. It's new shit. I like it.
Yeah, I was wondering,
and
what does that stand for?
I'm not going to tell you. I just told these people to at me. I'll tell you off here.
After erectile dysfunction.
Holy shit. I'm going to. I'll mail you your prize.
You got that treatment?
That treatment. Yeah. That's why I need that vibranium. I almost told somebody it means you can all eat a dick, but that's really a terrible thing to put, you know. And it takes the in front of dick and doesn't use that as part of the. I hate when they have like those acronyms and they put extra like what words in there.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you know,
like chips. Like, because California Highway Patrol, that should really just be CHP,
but it's the pronunciation.
The I in there.
It's like it's like someone's pronouncing a vanity plate. That's what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of my gripes right there, is when people have vanity plates that are inside jokes. Like, don't nobody know what the fuck that means. Like, if it's a common word or something, go with it. But if it's something that your grandkids call you, don't make me have to figure that out at a red light.
Yeah, I mean, I know your name is Mr. Bates or Mr. Bait, but you know you're pretty much saying masturbate when you put it on your vanity plates, and that's all I'm going to see is that you masturbate, and that's your license plate. So please, you know, just don't masturbate on your plate. And
on your plates.
And let's end on that note. So for William Bruce West. They can find you at William Bruce West, William B. West on Twitter. Is that correct?
Yep, William B. West on Twitter, WilliamBruceWest.com on the internet.
And you'll be posting every Friday, West Week Ever. This is what I show up for every Friday, to read what you think of everything in pop culture.
Oh shit, it's Thursday, isn't it? I better start writing that.
Well, you pretty much wrote some of it where you giving your thoughts on Black Panther today. So that's why I'm catching you now, because by the time people hear this, they're going to be like, I got to hear what he wrote on West Week Ever, man. And I'm sure there's some Power Ranger shit happened this week and some other things. So,
dude, so much Power Ranger stuff happened this week. It's crazy.
All right, we'll have to save that for next episode then.
So much. It's crazy.
I'm going to Lindsey Buckingham your Power Rangers fanboyism right now. We're out of time.
No, it's amazing you mentioned that, because this was a crazy ass Power Ranger week. But yeah, it'll all be there.
Yeah, let's say. And you can look for William Bruce West and I sometime down the line. We might do an awesome con together. We might go to Universal Fan Con. Just go to the cons. You might see us. And if you don't, just tap a random black guy. And if it's us, we'll say hi. If it's not, just say, hey, I thought you were Classic or William Bruce West. So they can be insulted and they'll come after us later on.
Yeah, if it's not us, then duck.
I am so tired of being mistaken for you.
Who is this Classic I keep hearing about?
I know. Is he Wakanda? Does he have the vibranium? So until next time, folks, you stay classy with class. That's not the phrase. That's not the sign off. Until next time, bye. We grind a week, nitty bomb, and peace out.